Last week was our first playoff game, and my plaque psoriasis was so itchy under all my gear. Sometimes just thinking about scratching could take me out of the moment. And then my doctor told me I could get clearer skin with a pill called Otezla.
Otezla apremilast is a prescription medicine used to treat adult patients with plaque psoriasis for whom phototherapy or systemic therapy is appropriate. Otezla can help you get clearer skin after just 4 months.
Okay, ready for the next game. Talking to my doctor about a pill was a total game changer.
Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing or swallowing, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, throat, or arms. Severe diarrhea, nausea or vomiting, depression, suicidal thoughts, or weight loss can happen. Tell your doctor if any of these occur and if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts. Live in the moment. Ask your doctor about Otezla. Call 1-844-4-OTEZLA or visit Otezla.com for prescribing info about cost, and more.
Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Fergal.
And we're from Movie Smash.
Comic book movies are having a golden age right now with the MCU.
Movies based on comics aren't necessarily a new thing, but they're a big thing.
Join us every other Tuesday on Movie Smash.
We explore these movies and find some hidden gems.
Every other week, we revisit some of the best.
And some of the worst movies based on comics or graphic novels.
Was Green Lantern as bad as you remember?
Heck no!
Is Time Cop the most accurate time travel movie ever created?
Absolutely.
Was Mystery Men way ahead of its time?
Should they be revisited? Should they be forgotten?
Join us on Movie Smash and find out. Listen wherever you find your fine podcasts.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is...
Sesame Zelensky is in the moral right in Cardinal.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's a deep name.
Mm-hmm. It's shorter than people, but...
Yeah. Are we talking about, like, Wayne Zelensky from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Yes. Yes, that's what I'm referring to.
That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, I thought for sure you were talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Check out our episode on Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves.
Yes. It's a good one.
And you'll find out how moral he is. Oh, boy. Yes. Before we get started today, I just wanted to mention that I was recently on another podcast as a guest. I was cheating on Sesame. And I was on this podcast called Pop Culture Junkie with the hosts Shauna and Olivia over there. And we talked about me, you know, because that's my favorite subject. And then we also joking. We also talked about the 1983 TV miniseries V, which if you haven't seen, I highly recommend. It holds up. It's scary how well it holds up today, and is very emblematic of things that are going on in our current society. Yeah, recommend watching that. But if you want to, I'm going to have a link in the show notes. But you go to popculturejunkie.com and you can find their podcast there. It's a good show. They do a lot of similar stuff to what we do. It's like two best friends talking about pop culture stuff, very similar to what we're doing. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I recommend checking it out, and that episode especially. So today on the show, we are looking back to a 1990s film from 1998 entitled The Faculty. It's a science fiction suspense horror type dealy.
Elio, yep.
Dealio, yes. Very 90s, very late 90s. So yeah. So this film was directed by Robert Rodriguez, who most people should know from a lot of the things he's done, like the El Mariachi films, the Spy Kids films, part of the Grindhouse thing, you know. He's a really good director. I recommend, if you're into film at all, reading his book, Rebel Without a Crew.
Mhm.
It's a great book. It's one of my favorite books I've ever read, talking about how he made El Mariachi and, for like next to nothing. It was like $27,000 or something. In the late 80s, early 90s, whenever that was made. This film was written, the story was by David Wetcher and Bruce Kimmel, with a screenplay by Kevin Williamson, the creator of Dawson's Creek and the Scream franchise. You can tell the influence of Kevin Williamson's dialogue and stuff in this if you've ever watched Dawson's Creek or Scream. So, and the film stars a pre-Fast and Furious Jordana Brewster, Clay Duvall, Laura Harris, Josh Hartnett, Sean Hatazzi, Selma Hayek, who's a Robert Rodriguez regular, from Dusk Till Dawn and other things. Famke Janssen, pre-X-Men. Piper Laurie, people might know from Carrie, among other things. Christopher McDonald, people may know from Happy Gilmore. Bebe Neuwirth, who people may know from Cheers. Robert Patrick, who people may know from Terminator 2 and The Peacemaker, among other things. The singer Usher Raymond, aka Usher. A pre-Daily Show Jon Stewart. Daniel Von Bargen. A pre-Lord of the Rings Elijah Wood. And then we've got Jen Abrahams and Summer Phoenix. Summer Phoenix is Joaquin's sister. They are the Fuck You Boy and Girl. Yes. And Susan Willis as Mrs. Brummel. That's pretty much most of the cast there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the log line on Internet Movie Database, the short synopsis here is, when Casey Connor, Harrington High School's newspaper photographer, witnesses the murder of a nurse and sees her alive again, he decides to investigate the bizarre happenings. That is quite possibly the worst log line I've ever read.
I know.
Doesn't even really tell you what the movie's about.
No, not really.
So yeah. Anyways, what are your initial thoughts here on the movie?
It took me back when I first saw it, around 98 or so. I may have seen it maybe a year after it came out. Mm-hmm. At that point, Jon Stewart actually was to host the Daily Show, but he just started.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing him like, oh yeah, is that guy from the Daily Show? I think that's him, so I kind of had like a reverse effect on that, when it came to Jon Stewart. And, he pretty much just plays the kind of same character in every movie he's been in. He's not a great actor. It's hard to say. He's a great host. Great commentary.
Oh yeah. And should be our next president, but that's just me. Anyway, so.
But when it comes to like actual acting, I'm never really been that much of a fan, but it's, whatever, that's fine. And I liked it a lot. It took me back. I was like maybe 15, 16 when I first saw it.
Yeah.
Again, like a year after it came out, I rented it from the movie store, like Blockbuster or whatever. Watched it, probably on like a Friday or Saturday night. Mm-hmm. Weekend after school or something. Probably popped it in around midnight or so. I remember watching it and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. Was never really into the horror genre that much until kind of maybe in the last year or so. So
yeah,
it wasn't something I would watch like all the time. Like it wasn't like a genre film for me. So the fact that I liked it a lot kind of proved how good the movie is for me, because it wasn't like I was like, oh, I want to watch this new horror movie or whatever, Yeah, so. I mean,
the thing is,
it kind of stood out for me.
I don't know if I'd consider it necessarily a horror, because it's a horror sci-fi thriller. I think it's more of a thriller than anything. So but then again, so are a lot of horror movies. The whole even slasher films, they're horror, but there's like a thriller aspect to it, because
like a mystery.
Because in the middle of all of them, Michael Jackson starts dancing and with zombies and stuff.
Right.
There's a thriller aspect. I'm joking. Sorry. That was bad.
Don't worry. There's no dancing in this movie at all, actually. Yes. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. So after I remember watching this when it came out on video. I remember renting it and watching it with my sister and some friends of ours and stuff. So yeah. And I've seen it several times since then. Whenever it was on TV or something, I would just stop and watch it. Yeah, I after this, because we delayed our recording time because things were going on today, and I decided to kill time with watching another movie. And then I was just on Max, and I was like, hey, Josh Hartnett's in the movie Trap, so I watched that after this. So I watched another I did a Josh Hartnett double feature today.
Nice. All right.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I Trap is cheesy as hell, but a good movie. It's a good thriller film as well. So I highly recommend that. It's M. Night Shyamalan. So yeah. You know. Yeah. Anyways, I liked the movie. So let's take a dive in the deep end here. Of
no pun intended.
Well, intended. So what this film is about here. And by the way, I'd also like to off the bat mention the fact that this movie has at least 4 people that are involved in sexual harassment charges. So
4? Okay, wait a minute. I know the one, but okay, I'd be interested in hearing.
Danny Masterson has a small role in this.
Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein is the producer of the film.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
Usher is in the movie. He's got some things going on. And then Harry Knowles, the creator of Ain't It Cool News, who was good friends with Robert Rodriguez at the time, and they lived in the same town where this was filmed down in Texas. He's just letting you know what's up with Harry Knowles. I don't know if you're ever familiar with Ain't It Cool News. It was like this like movie review site that was like huge in the, I guess in the in the early days of the internet and on into the like 2010s or something. Anyways, it was kind of like really cool. I liked it a lot. I used to be one of the first pages I would go to on the internet to read about movies and stuff. And but anyways, on September 23rd of 2017, it was reported and circulated in IndieWire and circulated in other national media that Knowles had allegedly sexually assaulted a woman named Jasmine Baker on 2 occasions in 1999 and 2000 at the Alamo Draft House events in Austin. Yeah, that's where they're from, Austin. Furthermore, Baker stated that while Draft House co-founders Tim and Carrie League were horrified to learn of the incident, they didn't know what to do and suggested that she just avoid Knowles, who denied the accusations. Anyways, that's the tip of it. So yeah, it basically, he ended up, he took a leave of absence, from Ain't It Cool News. And then, he had posted an apology 3 years later or 2.5 years later on the site. And I don't know what the latest is on that. So yeah, but yeah, we've got, at least, 2 people who are convicted of things and 2 people who had accusations. So yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Very late 90s.
Very, very late 90s. Yes.
But I mean, the moment I saw Harry Knowles on screen, I was like, "Oh my god!" And then I saw Danny Masterson, and Harry Knowles. He plays one of the teachers in the movie. He's like a background sort of thing. He's a heavyset redheaded guy.
Okay.
In one point, he was like, Salma Hayek's character was helping him with something. She was like a nurse, like in the teacher's lounge. So yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then he's in like a couple other scenes like in the background and stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. Yeah. But we've got good people in this movie that didn't do anything bad as far as we know.
As far as we know, yes.
The one good thing about Harry Knowles though is during the filming of this movie, he was friends with Peter Jackson. So he knew of upcoming auditions for a movie called Lord of the Rings movie franchise. Nice. And he talked to Elijah Wood on set and he says, "You should audition for it." So we wouldn't have Frodo if it wasn't for
the faculty. Oh, that's the faculty to Frodo pipeline.
Mm-hmm. That's how it always works out,
Yeah.
The one time it worked out.
The one time, the one pipeline.
It always works that way. The one time it works that way.
Yes.
Another little bit of information is back in January they announced that there's going to be a remake of this movie.
Really? Okay, interesting.
Yeah, that Robert Rodriguez is going to produce, and Drew Hancock is writing the script. Don't know who's directing. I'm not sure yet. Drew Hancock is known for the movie The Companion, which came out recently, I guess, or something. Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, they're going to be doing a remake. So
nice.
Hopefully it's good.
Yeah, hopefully. Don't fuck it up, guys.
But if it's not, it's going to ruin my childhood, even though I saw this as an adult. But anyway.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I just hate the whole like, oh, they're remaking something that I like, so it's ruining my childhood.
Oh, it's just so sad. It's like, all right, grow up, go watch something else, whatever.
Yeah,
you're fine. You're gonna live. You'll live.
Yeah, just because there's a black stormtrooper doesn't mean that Star Wars isn't still a good movie. Anyway, so
anyway, yeah.
So back to this movie. What goes down in the fictional Ohio town that this takes place in?
Right. Yeah, of course it takes place in Ohio, like a lot of these movies do for some reason. Probably just because Ohio's a lot of it is small town.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I mean, we live we live in different cities, but both of our cities are kind of more metropolitan, I guess you would say. A lot of Ohio was just like cornfields and shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, this town looked like it was kind of like, it was probably more akin to maybe my town, because I live in a smaller town. So, it's like, yeah, it's not a metropolitan per se. It's kind of like a smaller city. It's not a town though, I guess. So, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. It's so we have our cast, of like, oh, we got the nerd kid who likes to take pictures. That's Casey, played by Elijah Wood. You've got the cheerleader / journalist character who's dating the football star.
Yeah.
Which again is kind of weird because we have to find. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying. Yeah.
Oh, so we have this weird dynamic between them where she's a cheerleader and like part of the journalism team or whatever.
Yeah.
And so she's allowed to have like multiple identities, right? Like she could be a cheerleader and she could be into journalism. But her boyfriend, who's the star quarterback, he wants to focus on academics. And she's like, no, it's the natural order of things. The cheerleader has to date the quarterback. It's like, well, wait a minute, bitch. You're a cheerleader and a journalist, but he can't be quarterback and an academic? Like,
I mean, to be fair, though, she's balancing both of those things. So, his idea was to quit football to focus on studies.
Okay, got it.
And the main thing that she hasn't, I think she'd be fine if he could balance both studies and football. But
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right then. So she's correct. No.
So yeah, and Sean Hatosy or Hatsy, I don't know, Hatosy, Hatosy. He plays
Truffle Roan hot to go, hot to saucy. No, sorry, it's Hatosy. Hatosy. No,
he was like
just stuff too.
Yeah, he was kind of like the sort of like it kind of like not necessarily your big heartthrob guy, but like the kind of like guy that you would see in like a lot of things. Like what I know him most for is like Outside Providence or Alpha Dog. He's in both of those. It's also in he was also in the TV series Southland and different things. But he's I think an underrated actor. If you've never seen Outside Providence, I recommend that highly too. It's a good movie. Yeah.
I think he was also in season 1 of Fear the Walking Dead, but sometimes I get my actors mixed up. But I think it is him, but we can look it up later and see if it actually is.
Yes, it was him.
Oh, it is? Okay, cool. Good. I finally got it right.
Yeah.
But he played like a soldier.
I'm on his Wikipedia page. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
So we got him, and he's kind of like the character trope where he's like the popular guy who like doesn't really want to be popular, so he's not like super arrogant about it type of character. Like you get in some movies here and there where the jock isn't really like a jock, he's just like a normal dude type of thing. So he's kind of that character motif or trope or whatever.
I mean, if you look at the main characters in this movie, a lot of them kind of mimic the Breakfast Club.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
They do. It's weird though, because like they get much like the Breakfast Club where they're forced into the same room together. they are in this for a very different reason, but they're all forced to be with each other for like basically the entire day and the next day.
It's like the Breakfast Club meets Invasion of the Body Snatchers or something, So it's like,
really, I mean, that's like exactly what it would be. I mean, you wanted to mesh those two movies together, and so we got those guys. We get the Hollywood's bad boy, I guess you could call it, at the late 90s, early 2000s. Josh Hartnett. I mean, Josh half haircut. I mean, Josh Hartnett. What was with his hair? It looked like he left the barber before they finished his haircut. Like, what the fuck?
So at the time, there was a big deal about his hairstyle in both this movie, Halloween H2O, which is another decent movie. What it was is he was playing teenagers. And he had this in his head as an acting thing. He's like, I'm a kid who would cut his own hair.
Okay.
Cut his own hair.
Oh, my God.
And he said, I'm not going to have like fancy Hollywood hair. I'm going to be a normal kid. So that's what he did that for. There's reason behind it. So, yeah.
That's okay. I mean, there it is. I mean, so he looked kind of fucking weird. He's like the bad boy character who sells drugs and a bunch of other wares outside of the trunk of his car. Really cool, souped up, I don't know, really nice car. I'm not a car guy, but like really nice muscle car
of some sort. Yeah.
Oh yeah, something like that. And he sells drugs, bunch of other shit. He's main thing is he puts these like powder in like inside of pens, and like you're supposed to snort it, and it's supposed to like get you really high or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's one of his main things. He also sells like just a bunch of other random shit. He's got a thing for one of his teachers. He's always like trying to hit on her or flirt with her and shit. You've got the quote unquote lesbian character who's not actually a lesbian, but the actress herself is a lesbian. So that's kind of a mind fuck. So she plays a character who everyone thinks is a lesbian. She lets them think that she's a lesbian so that they won't bother her for some reason. But her character actually is heterosexual or at least bisexual. But then the actual actor herself is a lesbian. So it's like, write that one out. Like,
well, look, I don't even know. I don't know if she was out at the time. It's hard to say. But
not at the time. Not at the time she wasn't. But
Clea Duvall is a really good actress. She's another one of those underrated actors in Hollywood. She's in a lot of things like Argo and Zodiac and 21 Grams and But I'm a Cheerleader, Girl Interrupted, a lot of things. She was a couple years ago. I listened to an interview of hers on WTF with Mark Maron, and I don't remember why, but it was a really good interview. I can't remember specifics, but I remember really enjoying the interview. So maybe check that out, folks, if you can. So
yeah, because she was a big one in the late 90s, early 2002. I mean, just looking at her took me back. I was like, oh my God. Like, she always reminded me a little bit of the woman on the cover of the first Godsmack album, but not really, but just a little, probably from the hair maybe.
Yeah.
And then she was also reminds me a little bit of, was she in The Craft? I know she's not the one that you're probably thinking I'm thinking of, but was she one of the girls in The Craft or not?
I don't think so. I don't think she was in that, but I don't know. Maybe she was. I don't know. Let me see.
Because it's not the one that you're probably thinking I'm thinking.
Yeah, you're probably thinking of Fairuza Balk, but
yeah, I'm not thinking of her, but like,
yeah, that's who you probably think I was thinking of. Yeah,
yeah. The thing I'm thinking of that you think I can't do this. Wait a minute, because she was in American History X, Waterboy. Those movies are very interlinked. She thought the American History X, the Waterboy pipeline.
So Dorothy in Return to Oz, but yeah.
Okay.
When she was a kid. No, she wasn't in The Craft.
Okay. Well, she was in a bunch of shit that I remember at the time.
She was in a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Very late 90s, and then like there's this other character named Mary Beth who she acts like she's like this like small town girl, but she comes from Atlanta, which seems weird because Atlanta is like a major metropolitan city in Georgia. But she's acting like she came from like some like 2-horse town, or whatever 2-horse, whatever.
She's just doing the Southern thing, from the
just
South.
Doing Southern, yeah.
And that's played by Laura Harris, who I had a huge crush on at one time. So, anyways,
so with that, is it our main cast of kids here? Or did I miss someone or?
Not of the main cast kids. Yeah. Then we've got like I said, we got Danny Masterson, and then we got Wiley Wiggins as these two like guys that buy stuff off of Josh Hartnett's character throughout the movie, kind of like a couple stoners or something, tweakers or whatever you want to call them. Yeah. Wiley Wiggins.
Yeah, man.
Wiley Wiggins, people may know as Mitch from one of my favorite movies of all time, Dazed and Confused. So, which was also shot in the same town as this movie. So,
nice.
Yeah, he's also in some other Richard Linklater films, like with Alex Jones and stuff. So anyway,
yeah, that's a weird one. Like, yeah, I'm in the movie with Alex Jones. Wait, what? The Alex Jones? Yeah, the same dude. Like,
they're all down there, and in Texas back when it was cool before it became completely overrun by the likes of Joe Rogan.
Austin specifically was like a big haven of like
that's where all these,
and art,
because that's basically the hub of Rodriguez and Linklater, and they like work together and share actors and stuff like that, and it's just like.
Yeah, that's right.
If I could be in any film community in any period of time, it would probably be Austin in the like 90s, so just to be
totally. I mean,
yeah,
you got so many people there, and this is before Alex Jones went completely crazy too, where he was at least pretending to be like someone who was like
normal,
just like like, so, I mean, I guess, well, I don't know about normal, but like, not like completely insane. Like a fun conspiracy. Like, because for a while, like conspiracy theories were kind of cool, like Bigfoot, UFOs. Like, it wasn't like super dangerous. Like, yeah, it was like you had to stretch your sense of like reality of like accepting ridiculous premises, like whether or not Bigfoot exists, which I think he might. But whatever. That's the point.
I think that if Alex Jones at the time saw The Faculty, he probably thought it was a documentary.
Probably. He's like, wait a minute. I can't do his voice, but like,
they're putting, it's the water. It's turning the frogs gay and turning people into aliens. It's
That's it. That's a good voice. That is, yeah.
One of the few creations I can do halfway decent. So yeah.
Well, that's pretty good though. I mean, that's a pretty good one. So yeah, he was in that movie where he was like had like a bullhorn and he was like driving his car around or something like that.
But anyway,
that was a cool speech. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, we're kind of getting off track.
Anyways, The Faculty. So what goes down in Faculty Town?
So that's a good one. Faculty Town. I like that. It's a town of just faculty. I was like, you go there like at school to learn how to be teachers, and it's Faculty Town. And
there's no
just go there.
There's no students.
No, you just go, like, you have, like, cardboard cutouts of students, and you, like, go in the front of the classroom. They'll play, like, simulations, like, kids throwing paper airplanes at you and, like, talking during class. And you're like, shut up, go to the principal's office or whatever, It's called Faculty Town. It's a real thing. No. And it really happens in Ohio. And then, so it's actually a weird idea. Faculty, we should write that down. Faculty Town. Where
they're burning
just go there.
Faculty Town.
Yes. You just go there to learn how to... Anyway, so it's basically like your typical Ohio town where they're having a meeting where, of course, budget cuts are needed. And, of course, the football team's going to get all the money. And so the drama and the music club and all the other clubs are going to have to be cut back. They're mad at the principal, even though she literally does not make decisions that's above her. Like the school board makes this that she does. I mean, you can't really expect her to do anything. What you gonna do? Steal the money from the coffers and like, what I mean? Like,
yes, that's.
But they all blame her. Yes, exactly. So they all blame her for being the messenger when she quite literally has no control over the situation at all, except for just telling the people what's going to happen. And so,
she's just telling them what's going down in Faculty Town.
Going down to Faculty Town. I did miss there was one scene before that where the football coach is just going absolute berserk because they didn't have a good practice session, I guess. And he's like flipping all the benches around, all the Gatorade tubs, getting all, and then someone's walking behind him as he's like cleaning up because like he's cleaning up his own mess. So I guess that's nice. And he's like, this better be important or I'm going to kick your ass or whatever. And then you're like, what are you? Or who are you or whatever? And then like, that's the end of that. So then
dun, dun, dun.
we have to, dun, dun, dun. So after this like disappointing meeting where she basically just told all the people like, yeah, we're not only giving you guys more money, we're taking money away from your clubs to give to the football team. So be happy about that.
Hey,
So
I got an observation.
okay.
So you know how there's like rich people are basically like, you know, the adult equivalent of the football team. And, you know, like, the drama club and stuff is kind of like the adult equivalent of like the poor people that need healthcare and stuff. So basically the way our government is run is kind of similar to this, right?
Yeah. I mean, Elon Musk is like the school board who's making the decisions. And the teacher is, I don't know, some public servant, I guess. I don't know. Oh God! Even the name. If you think about these, public servant is in the name.
Yeah.
Like we just say these words sometimes, and we don't really think. Like, wait a minute, these people are literally called servants. Like,
Yes.
we just say it, and we're like, we don't even think about. Oh, the connotations. That's kind of weird to call them servants. That's okay. And so,
I mean, that's
so she forgets.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. You're good.
No, I was just say that's why it's so funny when people want to run governments like businesses, because it's not a business. They got to realize that, because, you know, businesses are run where there is a hierarchy. But the thing is, we don't vote for that hierarchy. It's just people that are appointed to those positions, whereas opposed to in the government, we elect these people and they are working for us. Anyways, so back to the faculty.
Back to the faculty town. What's going on in the faculty? The principal forgets her keys right after she tells the head of the English drama department, like, hey, you know, maybe if we got some of the old, you know, some of the stuff from like the set of the old play, maybe we can. So
she said, the drama teacher said, you know, the kids are set on doing Guys and Dolls this year, and says, well, maybe we can if you just use the set from our town from last year, you know. So
right. So she's trying to be nice, to try to figure out some way to make her happy. And so she's not like a bad character in this at all. She's just in a position where she can't really do anything but just tell people the bad news. And so, which is great. That's what they always want. Like, oh, you go and tell the people the bad news that we're creating, and they'll hate you, even though we're the ones causing all the problems. But go ahead. Yay. And then so she's like, oh shit, I forgot my keys to her car, I guess. So then she goes inside. You see, she hears something, and you see like a little door kind of like moving somewhat, like someone had just kind of passed through. And then it's like, oh no, it's the coach, and he's acting really weird and like kind of flirting with her, and she's kind of like, hey, this is kind of weird, maybe, you know, don't do that. Sexual harassment. So there you go. And then
you know, I thought it would have been Harry Knowles, but no, I'm trying.
No, not Harry Knowles. There's actually lots of, I mean, it's late 90s, so there's a lot of this sort of like the guys being way too close to the women, where they're like, hey, you know, back up a little bit. That's not, you know, not cool, dude. So he's like harassing her. What's that?
I said, need some personal space here. Yeah.
Literal personal space, because he's like way up in their business. Like, hey, back the fuck off, coach, whatever your name is. And so he's like, no, bitch. And then he does something. Then she stabs him, I think. And then like he just gets up, like he's totally fine, doesn't hurt him at all. So she's like, what the fuck is this? So she's running around the school. He turns on the speakers, doing like the announcements, like, you can't hide, you know, whatever type of thing. And of course, all the doors are chain locked. And so she can't find, that's the other thing too. It's like, really? There's not one door to find out. What is this, a prison? I mean, maybe, they're kind of going into that, like, you know, they're playing Pink Floyd, another brick in the wall, you know, type of thing. So she's like, let me out, because the woman, the drama teacher's there, and she's like, I can't do it, you know, get the keys. Like, that's what she was there in the first place to find. But since she lost them after she scratched the dude in his cheek with her keys. And so it's like she finally gets out, and you're like, oh God, a sigh of relief, she got out. But oh no, the drama teacher's got the pair of scissors, and then she stabs her. And she's like, I always wanted to do that. I'm like, what? She just murdered the principal, bro. What the hell's going on here? Is she also now infected by whatever is going on with the coach? What's happening?
Oh no.
Next morning, nobody even notices that the principal's not there. Like, You like no one thinks it's strange that she's just not there. Like you're just like, oh yeah, she just doesn't come into work and doesn't tell anyone for no reason, and that's normal. So we don't even ask questions. She's the principal of a high school.
Yep.
Like what? Like I mean, wouldn't she at least inform the vice principal of the high school? Hey, I'm not coming into work today for whatever reason. No phone call to that person either, and that person seems strange about it. What that?
So maybe they can't afford a vice principal. So
it's true. Maybe she's just but still, you still think it'd be odd that she wouldn't tell anyone. And it's like, oh no, some of the teachers were acting kind of weird. What's happening here? Most of them are fine, but then there's two that are just oh, that's the other thing too. So like the woman that killed the principal with the scissors, now she's like dressed completely different than like what she normally does.
Yeah.
And she's just like looks really sinister. She's like looking at students and the people like, I'm going to murder all of you.
I think Piper Laurie did a good job in this movie. She was creepy. Yeah.
No, seriously. No, really. And we're like, oh no, what's going to happen now? Because there's obviously something's underfoot here. What's going on? And then, Salma Hayek. Wow. That was okay. I don't know how I got that messed up, but she got like a really bad cold. And, she said something really interesting that's basically confirms that capitalism, late stage capitalism exists in the FCU, backwards to Eastern Mac universe, where she's like,
universe of one film.
Yeah, exactly. The FCU. Yes. The remake could be part of it too. So, and
just call it the faculty universe and not even call it a cinematic universe and just call it FU. And then
it's called FU. Yes. Yes, exactly. FU. And so, they go, why don't you just take the day off? And she literally goes, I want to save the sick days for when I'm actually feeling good. Like, there you go. Capitalism. She can't even have she has to use sick day as a vacation day. And so she's working while she's sick, which is terrible for both her and for everyone else, because if she can get everyone else infected with this cold or whatever she's got, the whole school's going to get it by the end of the week. But there you go. You can't have vacation time if you're a nurse or work inside the school system in any capacity, whether you're a teacher or just any other faculty member, because the faculty is not just teachers. Faculty can be a whole slew of people, not the janitors, of course. They're like their own little thing, like fuck you, you're not part of us. You just clean the school and make it clean so that people don't get sick. You're not important at all. And it's like, all right, well, fuck you, FU universe. And it's so like, what happens now? I'm blanking on what's happening.
So, anyways, after all that goes down, we've got the students, have arrived at the school and stuff the next morning after the original thing, and we have the whole stuff with the teachers, but we meet our core people. So basically we that morning though, Casey, he finds a strange creature on the football field, and then he takes it to his science teacher, Mr. Furlong. By the way, his character was named after Eddie Furlong from Terminator 2.
That's awesome.
Which, Robert Patrick was in. But anyways, who is in this movie?
Yep.
Mr. Furlong, played by Jon Stewart. He believes it's a new species of cephalopod specific parasite called a mesozoan. Yeah. I'm just reading this. I have no idea what I'm talking about. So they find that, and it's doing weird shit. Like when you get it wet, it starts to like come alive and do weird shit. And then he puts it into an aquarium that they have there, and it like separates and everything. And there's like all these like tentacles coming out of it, like these little like veins almost looking tentacles. So then later we have Delilah. She's like, the newspaper chick who's basically got Casey as her like, peon photographer that works with her.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to find some, like scoop out a story, and they go into the teacher's lounge to find a story. And while they're in there, the door starts opening, and then they witness Coach Willis and Miss Olson forcing the parasite into the nurse's ear through the thing.
Oh, God.
And when they're in a closet while this happened, they're hiding in a closet, and they witness this. And while they're in the closet too, before this, I forgot, there was a scene in the boys' locker room.
Oh yeah, that's
where Casey is in there, and then and Stan, who's the jock, he the jock wannabe scholar guy, so he's in there taking a shower. Stan is, and Miss Brummel, this old lady teacher there, comes into the shower and she's like starting to take off her clothes and shit, and this like creepy scene, and then like her hair falls off and all this other stuff. I mean, so they go to the principal and stuff and try to figure out what's going on, and the teachers are like basically saying, hey, she's just got cancer and stuff like that.
Yeah, the cancer where half your face falls off when someone touches it. What?
The cancer where hair falls out in the Stan's hand when he's just
that kind.
Yes. I mean, I'm sure there are some things that'll do that, but it sounds more like leprosy or something to me. But I mean,
if you touch someone's skin that just literally just melts off from someone's touch, it's a little bit different and a little bit more severe problem.
So while they're in the closet, though, later on, and when they're snooping in the teachers' lounge, her body's in there. Miss Brummel's body falls on him in a creepy way, and they get caught basically, and so they run home. I mean, well, basically she leaves Casey there. Delilah just like runs off on her own, and you.
Yeah, it is the FU universe. So
her name is Delilah Prophet too. I think that's kind of interesting. I don't know why some of the names are interesting to me, but they might not mean anything. Casey tells his parents, and his parents come to the school with the cops, and of course no one's believing the kid, thinks he's on drugs or something and making this up because he's like, there's like aliens in the
I know, he's just saying all this like, wait, what?
Like they stuck something in the nurse's ear, and Mrs. Brummel.
Yeah, how do you explain?
And then they of course cleaned everything up before this happened, and they put a resuscitation Annie doll in the closet to make it seem like that was what they thought was Miss Brummel. Yeah, because that's so close looking. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. With Casey, okay, I can understand them saying that because he's like the nerd, but like the head cheerleader is also saying that shit too. So it's like, why would she have any incentive talking about aliens and shit? Like, what I mean? Like,
I know. So then the next day, Casey tells Delilah, and then Stan and Stokely what he believes too, that the teachers are being controlled by aliens. So then, at this time, Mary Beth and Zeke are in the other room, together, and, overhear their conversation through these vents that are very, acoustically tuned right. So you can hear everything from one classroom to the other, which sounds like a really bad way to build the school, because if you have some students in the one room and then, a teacher in the other room, again, that just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry. Of all the things in this movie that bothered me the most.
Yeah. You could hear a full-blown conversation without any muffled sounds. And by the way, too, Mary... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Say, if this is how the school's built, you could have, like, you're trying to listen to your teacher teach you math, but you're hearing, like, a history professor in the other room talking. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense at all. It's plot armor. That's all it is. It's laid out plot armor. But, like, so, like, Mary Beth all the while is making friends or trying to make friends with all of these people that are our main cast. And the reason why Zeke has her in there is because he's stealing lab equipment and materials to make his drugs. And he wants her there to make it seem like they're going to be making out if anyone that comes in or not. Just wants the lead hero sneaking off to kiss or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just want to point that out really quick that all the while this is going on, Mary Beth is like, she's making friends with all of our main cast members. Like, it's interesting why she's doing that. Anyway, I don't know.
Yes, the new girl in town. The new girl in town. Okay, sorry. Anyways, so basically, they overhear them in the next room talking about things. And this is actually, Furlong's classroom. And they're talking about the theory about, there might be aliens. And, then Zeke and Mary Beth come in and they're like making fun of them for it. They're like, yeah, that's stupid, And, then Mr. Furlong comes in and he attempts to infect them because they notice that the water and the little creature doodaddies are missing from the aquarium. So, and Zeke ends up, fighting. The one thing I thought was really cool is that Mr. Furlong is starting to like fight them and stuff. And, because he's, he's infected. And, I really thought it was cool when Zeke took the paper cutter handle off. He ripped it off of the paper cutter and started using it as a sword. I thought that was really cool. But
it is really cool. Yeah,
he chops off Furlong's fingers. That's a new dish at the local restaurant. It's called Furlong's Fingers. They're
they're like chicken fingers, but they're not. They're just Mr. Furlong fingers.
Yeah, you can get them fried, and then come with nice little dipping sides and stuff. It's good.
It's kind of messed up because they figured out a way to regrow his fingers. They just cut it off every day, so it's like constantly getting his fingers cut off. Like
he just sits there in the kitchen with his hand on a table, and the chef just keeps.
I mean, they pay him and stuff. They pay him, but
like, he has to sit there for like 8 hours.
Yeah, hey, it's
a job.
It's a decent job. It's a job.
I think he's better than being a science teacher at a high school.
That's exactly it is. Having your fingers cut off constantly in the kitchen.
So
okay.
So he cuts off his fingers, and then they start fighting, and he stabs him in the eye with one of his drug pens, which is a new product by Bic. Anyway, so
yeah.
Bic pens come out with drug pens. Yeah, the thing is, the whole like keeping drugs inside that thing totally reminded me. I probably talked about this on the podcast before, but I had a friend in high school who sold weed all the time, and he there were these they weren't like Crayola markers. They were like these cheap off-brand markers that you could take the tops off. They would screw off, and you could take the like ink from the inside out of them. These markers, and he would roll up joints and put them inside there, and that's how he would get them to people.
That's awesome.
And, the reason I know this, I don't know if he ever got caught. He got caught by me, but I didn't see anything. But one day, because like I never kept a lock on my locker because I didn't keep anything in there I gave a shit about. And one day there's like this mysterious package of markers in my locker. I picked it up and it has this like very, very, cannabis smelling sort of thing. Anyway, so
he used your locker as like his
to hide him one time. And I was just like, and I looked at him and I pulled him out and we were like, at the locker, and he was like the locker next to mine or one or two down. And, like, hey dude, what's this? I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want to. I may have, and if I talked about it in the past, but I was like, he saw me pull them out, and I was like, what are these? And he's like, oh man, those are mine. I'm sorry, I put them in there by mistake. And I was like,
yeah, right.
I was like, dude, what are you doing? And he showed me. He's like, opened it up, and he's like, oh, there's joints in there. And I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, don't say anything, dude. No, I won't say anything because I didn't care. So,
dude, on purpose, just in case someone would get caught to be you that got caught. Probably.
I'm just like,
dude. They stand like. Yeah,
I was just like, dude, don't put him in there again. That's all. But But anyways, he takes his drug pen and he sticks it in Furlong's eye, basically killing him because he like starts like bubbling up with like looks like baking soda coming out of him. But
yeah, what it looked like.
Zeke takes the other 5 people to his house. They escaped through the school because like everybody's looking at them weird. And they saved the like specimen from Furlong of one of the little creature thingy madoobies.
One of those things.
Thingamadoobies. Yeah, that's the technical term.
Yeah, it is.
They take it there and then they infect his little pet rat that he has or something. Or mouse or whatever it is. I can never tell the difference between a mouse and a rat half the time. I think rats are bigger, so I think it was a rat. So yeah,
I think it is. Yeah, it's bigger.
Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese is a rat and Mickey Mouse is a mouse. Yeah.
Yep.
So he does like an experiment on this thing, and he has the thing basically, he puts water on it, and it like attacks and goes inside the ear of the mouse. Inside the ear of the mouse. That's a deep poem. Yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
Inside the ear of the mouse. And then they realize that that it basically like sucks all the like liquid out of people and mice and rats or whatever. And so they figure out that the reason that the drug killed Furlong is because it's got a lot of caffeine pills in it, and caffeine's a diuretic, so it was taking out the water. I don't know if it would act that fast, but whatever.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Well, he did stab him in the eye, so maybe,
So now they devised this idea that these, this stuff dehydrates the users, and they end up making everybody take the drug to, sniff it up their nose to prove that they aren't aliens.
Your typical thing, like, you gotta take it, bro. And
I was hanging out with some friends in high school once, and just randomly they said, "Hey, you got to snort this so you can prove you're not an alien." It's just a normal thing we all go through. It's like,
it's like a puberty you got to go through. Yeah.
Yes. They all do this, but then it's end up revealed that Delilah is infected, and so she destroys Zeke's. He's got this big drug lab, and most of his drug supply before she escapes. She destroys all that, and then this one teacher is just waiting outside in the driver's ed car for her.
Yeah, what was that all about?
I don't know. My thing is just, why didn't the two of them go in there and try to infect the kids?
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know. Because there's lots of weird things in this movie like that, though.
If you knew where they were, there's plenty of, because that's the other thing that everybody thinks is weird. The school nurse, after she was infected, is having all the kids come to the nurse's room to get their ears looked at or something. So, and basically,
which is expecting the shit in their ears.
Yeah.
And no one sounds weird that every single kid in school has to have an ear exam on the same day. Why? Without any reason for needing one? What?
Why didn't you just say there was a lice outbreak and you were checking for lice? Because that would be more.
Yeah, or something.
That would make more sense.
Yeah, and plus too, Casey's dad, it looked like he had become one. So why didn't he infect his son in his sleep or something you know what I mean? It doesn't make no sense either. But okay, whatever. It's a plot miss or whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yes, it's, film convenience. So what happens next?
So Mary Beth and Delilah, they basically take it at the same time as a challenge, because they're both both kind of feel like they're jealous of each other in some weird way. So Delilah gets infected. She does a rampage, like you said. Zeke apparently is very smart when it comes to chemistry, even though he seems like he's kind of I don't care about school, bro. We don't want those type of guys, but he's actually very good at. I kind of want to know what he made his drug out. I mean, I'm not going to make it myself, but so it's part caffeine pills. So don't worry, I'm not going to try. I have no nuts about chemistry.
All he says is other household stuff.
Yeah, so we have no idea. That could mean literally anything. It could mean bleach, chlorine, Mr. Clean. I mean, it could be so many different things.
I mean, and
mixed with
household things. It doesn't necessarily mean it's even chemicals too. It's just
true.
I put macaroni and cheese in there. What the hell is?
Yeah. And so, the caffeine pills are the base of it, and then everything else is thrown in. But I mean, that's where he's been making all of his drugs in this makeshift lab. And his parents are always gone. They must be rich, because they're always off in Europe and all these other countries. I don't know what to just vacationing without taking him. I don't know exactly what
that happens.
They never really said.
That happens a lot in movies we watch, in just one of the guys and stuff like that. That happens. So it's just
Yeah, you're right. It's like, oh, we're just conveniently going on a vacation. See you in a month, kids. Here, we gave you $20 for pizza. Good luck.
We conveniently wrote the parents out so we didn't have to cast 2 actors. Hey,
yeah. Isn't that awesome? And that just explains why they live in a house, don't have jobs, don't have to pay for anything.
Yeah.
And they're kids, so it's great. So so they're off traipsing around Europe or whatever, and he's off making drugs in this garage lab, and the cops are kind of driving by doing a little stakeout, like, what's going on here? And they go to school the next day, and sexual abuser Denny Masterson comes up, and he wants to buy more drugs. So he's like, I want more drugs, bro. This stuff's great. And he's like, okay, sure, I'll give you the rest. And he's like, no, I want all of it. And he's like, no, probably not. But it was all ruse. It was all ruse because now the teacher that he has a crush on now has proof that he's been selling drugs. And so now she's dressed all hot and shit though. Like before she was kind of like, you're like, she's all that type of thing where she's like dressed all like, oh, little old me.
She wore glasses, so she was ugly.
Exactly. That's what they always do. She wore glasses and she was all like nervous, and now she's dressed all hot and she's like pushing him around, like she's really assertive now. And he's kind of like liking it, but also really confused at the same time. He's like, what the fuck's happening? It's like, I dreamed of this moment every day for the past 4 years. I have no idea what's going on. So I'm kind of scared at the same time as being horny. I don't know. These feelings are so confusing. And then, so that's what's going on in his head. In my camp, that's what's happening. And she's like, fuck you. You better take this shit off. Don't sell drugs anymore. I'm going to call the cops on you, whatever type of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, but we figured out, wait a minute. Oh, I understand. Because Danny Masterson wanted to take all the drugs from him because they figured out that the drug pens is what kills them. So, if you take them away from them, and Delilah destroyed the lab, which means he can't make anymore. So, how do we kill these things now? We don't have many drug pens left. It's Danny Masterson figured it out, before in between sexually assaulting people, he was coming up with this scheme
and
as
there's
well.
no scheme in the world besides that, I guess.
No, fair. I mean,
or any other kind of
headache
or anything.
Nope.
I
saw
at
this point pretty much. What's that?
At the school, I saw several Pepsi machines. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, of course, you got to have the sponsors. Yes.
I'm just saying there's caffeine in Pepsi.
Yeah, apparently, I don't know. Yeah, well, it's not just caffeine. It's the other shit, that the household stuff that is never explained what it is. What does stuff mean? It could be like a thread from your sweater that's put into the stuff. That stuff? I mean, it's household.
And
it could be like a piece of sand that came off your shoes, but it's in your house, so it's technically stuff, right? So you just put a little sand, a little piece of sand inside your
maybe it's
nose. What's that? Yeah, maybe
it's his parents. Yeah.
Whoa, it's how? Yeah, maybe he put his parents inside the truck.
He ground up.
You have to. That's so creepy. But that's perfect though, because that's the way you can't find the bodies because it goes up everyone's nose. It's so how can you catch the killer? There's like 100 people who have bits of his parents in their nose.
Odd. Instead of selling like meat pies, you're just selling
parrot drugs, parrot pies. I don't know. Oh my god! So at this point, everybody in the town's pretty much infected. Except one point, they had like a barricade, so like no one could even leave the town, even if they wanted to, So they're like, shit. Well, we gotta go back to school because like even if we run away, like it's gonna catch up to us. I mean, they already infected the entire town in like 2 days, so before long, it's gonna infect like the entire country. So we can't really run away, so we're just gonna have to face it.
Yes.
And so they go back to school with their 2 drug pens.
It's like an ideology. Basically, it starts small and then eventually it infects the whole country. Anyway, so
yeah, for the world exactly. Totally. And which is interesting though, because at one point during the class, they're reading Animal Farm, I think, talking about like the collective and like what's good for the state, and individuals have the
layered. Yeah. It's kind of
layered.
Yeah. I always think it's funny too that there's a line in there where they're talking about how invasion of the body snatchers and stuff, and it's like, well, that's in the fiction section, and then somebody says, so is Schindler's List.
Whoa. Wow.
Well,
is it? I thought that was based off a real story, wasn't it? Was it?
Is. So I didn't understand that line at all. But
so
I think
what this movie now is Holocaust denial of this movie.
Or maybe maybe the books in the fiction department, because it's a fictionalized of, I don't know, historical fiction or something. Maybe, I don't know, but there was a real Oscar Schindler, so I don't know what they were talking about.
So I'd say. So now the movie's Holocaust denialism, so we got that mixed in with it. Like, yeah, so is Schindler's List, the so-called Holocaust. They're like, oh, so we're doing that now in this movie. We're into the Holocaust. Yeah, it's like, 6 billion people got infected by this parasite. Just saying. It's not like they died or anything. It's like, oh my god. So now we got Elijah Wood playing the Holocaust denialist. Inside this high school in Ohio. The faculty town's got some brown shirts that are brown, and sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. So Holocaust denial is freaky. It's bad. Anyway, so they got like 3 drug pens left, and they're like, they have to use it wisely. Find the queen.
Yeah,
because they figure out that
Stokely, who's kind of into the sci-fi stuff and everything, she's the one that speculates that killing an alien queen will revert everybody to normal. I just think it's funny that she's just speculating this. There's like no rhyme or reason to believe that this will actually happen.
There's no proof whatsoever. And they're like, okay.
Just science fiction books, the movies.
I mean, yeah. I guess that's all they got to go off of, though. There's nothing else they can.
I mean, partially, we do have things in nature like the queen bee and stuff like that. That if you kill the queen bee, another bee has to replace her, or if it doesn't, then the rest of the hive will die. So it's just, but
they die because with lack of guidance or whatever. Mm-hmm. Whereas. With her, they're kind of like you remember those old video games? Like whenever you would beat the boss, all of his henchmen would just die along with him.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like
Final Fight,
or like the Borg in Star Trek. Like there's the Queen Borg who basically controls all of the Borg, because it's kind of like a queen bee sort of situation. But I think if you killed her, everybody would come back to normal. So it's very similar. So. Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because she probably watched Star Trek as well. And so they're trying to find the queen. Each one gets picked off one by one, gets infected. Stan, he ends up getting affected because he wants to go see what's going on in the football field, and it's raining, and they're all soaking up the rain, because
because at first they're all under the impression that the queen has to be Principal Drake because she's in charge. So,
which is such a weird. I could sort of understand the logic, but it's still kind of weird that because she's in charge in normal life, that this therefore must mean she's the queen of this. But they couldn't have think about it for a second though. If you're a parasite who's trying to take over this area, wouldn't you want to go underground? Why would you choose the person who's the leader of the school to be the leader of this team?
and not that she's old, but she's closer to middle aged. And you think that if you want to be somebody that lives longer, you would take over a younger body. I'm not trying to say anything here, but yeah.
No, I'm not trying to say anything either. I mean, it's just very interesting that, you said that. Anyway, so Stan, he comes back and they try to make him take the drug, but he pours it out because he knows he can't take it. So they're like, no, Stan's infected now too. Shit. And so they're running around the school, and then, they're talking. They all meet up in the gymnasium. By the way, the gymnasium has all these flyers moving around that look kind of like the veins that are that come out from the people that are infected or whatever. Yeah, if you look again, there's all these banners and flyers and shit hanging from the ceiling, from maybe a dance or something, and it looks kind of similar to the veins
or something, or
yeah, it's like streamers. You might call them. I think that's what they might be called.
Mm-hmm.
and they're kind of waving around,
Interesting.
in a gymnasium.
Good catch.
And so, so what's that? Yeah, it's interesting. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't come up with it. I watched the video about it, but and they mentioned it was the spoilers. The YouTube channel. He had a video about the faculty, and that was one of the things he mentioned was the streamers and whatever. Yeah, so I'm not gonna take credit, but it wasn't my idea. But they all kind of leave, and it's just Stokely and Mary Beth, and then suddenly Mary Beth starts saying like, well, I mean, he seemed kind of peaceful, didn't he? And like, maybe it's not so bad to live like that. And so like, I mean, wouldn't you want to not be afraid? And so like Stokely's ears start perking up. She like understands that Mary Beth is actually the queen, but she punches her right in the face right before she can do anything about it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh shit, Mary Beth is the queen. What? No. She was so nice, and she, came from Atlanta, Georgia, and acted like she came from like a 2-horse town, but now it makes sense because she doesn't know anything about anything, so she just like, oh yeah, I come from Atlanta, but I don't really know anything about Atlanta, so I'm just gonna say it, but I'm acting like I come from like. It's like
I was gonna say the dialogue there though too, like how it's wouldn't it be nice to like it's basically like cult like talk, like isn't it nice to all belong and all feel safe and everybody loves you sort of thing, it's like the love bombing sort of thing almost.
It is a little bit. What makes me sad though about this is that I think there's a part of Mary Beth's character that she intentionally like chose these people because like I think she actually kind of wanted them to be her friends, sort of like in a weird twisted way. Like she wasn't like trying to like abuse them, like she just thought that like
because from what I understand is like when you're infected, you're not completely taken over. You are it feels like there's still a part of you in your body. It's like you're being kind of controlled, but there's still like a little bit of Mary Beth in you. There's a little bit of Stan in you or whatever, So yeah, it's just.
I mean, because like nice,
it's making you a quote unquote better version or more content version of yourself. It's kind of like complacency in the world, like where people just want you to like just accept the world as it is and be complacent and don't try to be. It's the like it's like the Barney Stinson thing where he's got like the penguins on the wall or something that it's like where it's something about like fitting in, like, all, like, I can't remember what it said, but it's something like, what is it? I don't know, but basically saying that, when you fit in, it's better than standing out,
Right. So, it's like, wait a minute, really? It's like, something you would see like the Soviet Union or something like, posters like, don't be an individual, don't, be like everyone else. So it's like, I kind of feel sad for her a little bit because like, I do think that like that's the reason why she chose not because like they were vulnerable, but because she herself was vulnerable. She mentioned how she came, like her whole family, her whole land got dried out or something like that, and so she had to move.
Yeah, like, I'm just wondering like where she got the body of Mary Beth to infect, and like if that was like just a real person that moved there from Atlanta that was coming to school there, and if what happened to her after all this, she just died.
No, exactly. Well, she may have been the first victim. I mean, she would have to be the first victim, right? And then, right. So I don't know exactly how that would. Wait, like that wouldn't make.
Because like everybody else kind of survived. Even we found out later, like even Furlong, he just was wearing an eye patch. But
that's right. Plus, no fingers though either, probably because his fingers won't regrow.
He did have like like a cast on his hand or something too. So yeah.
Well, they may have regrown though because that one the teacher. Well, I forgot when Zeke had the teacher in this car, the one that was like flirting with them, like because she wanted to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
He crashed into a school bus with the seatbelt on, so that's important to use your seatbelts. And then she crashed through and her head fell off, but then it just like reattached itself to her body. So maybe that's what happened. The
CGI there. The CGI there was probably great for its time, but it looks so weird now. You've got this like,
I know.
Her head with like these like octopus legs kind of coming out of it, walking around. It's just
she just kind of stared at him, and even Zeke's just like he's like, "Fuck this! I'm not even gonna try to kill her again." Just runs away. What would you do if you see a head with tentacles just walking around? I wouldn't want to get near the head because who knows? The tentacles could come, reach out and grab me or whatever. So he just runs away. He's like, I'm not dealing with this shit again. But I don't know, because now I'm starting to think too about the Mary Beth of why her, maybe because she was the queen that if she died, she just died for real, but everyone else didn't die. Maybe, or I mean, I don't really know.
Yeah, it's hard to say
exactly. I don't know if they really thought that through, maybe, and they just ended it that way. But I do kind of feel bad. I know it's this weird to like feel bad for like an alien villain in the movie, but like I don't like Alien where they actually were killing people. It's like I do think that like she really wanted them to be her friends, like not as a joke, or like, I mean, like genuinely wanted her, because like she was saying like how she felt like an outsider too, and that's the reason why she chose them, because she didn't want to choose the popular people because she would connect with them, you know what I mean, or anything like that. So it's like, that kind of has like a tragic element to the story where it's like, in her mind, she didn't really think she was doing anything evil. Like she thought she was actually doing something that would actually like help people, like her, like help her obviously, but then help everyone else around her, so that she could like basically have these people be her friend. But at the same time, it's kind of like the whole aspect though of like, if you really care about someone, you would set them free, you wouldn't control them, type of thing. So it's like her version of friendship was like, oh, I'm going to infect you with part of myself, you know? You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know.
It's hard to say.
It is.
But yeah, then so what happens now? We got basically Casey saves the day.
Yep.
Yeah, we have a random scene where Mary Beth's walking around naked after she was in a pool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got Hydra, you know?
Yeah. And basically Zeke gets knocked out, and then Casey ends up saving the day. He finds all of the drug pills, pens. I mean, and he's like being chased underneath these bleachers that are that he figures out that there's like a mechanical thing that puts them into the wall, and he's like, and they're like folding into the wall as he's being chased by the big queen. And not like a gay guy, but like. Not like a heavy-set gay guy, not like a big queen like that, but like a, big alien queen.
Yes. Sorry. Now I'm just like imagining like a movie scene or something like that, where it's like a character from like a movie, like just running towards some.
This movie would be completely different if instead of aliens, it was just like the aliens were like homosexuals. But anyway, so
a gay guy from like Modern Family or it's like chasing you or something like that. Yeah. Like, I just want to be your friend. He's like, no.
So anyways, he gets chased under there, and he ends up basically trapping the queen in the bleachers, and he shoves the pens in her eye, and then she dies, and then everybody else.
I mean, because
Stokely was infected as well, and caged up in the locker room, because locker rooms all have cages.
Of course they do. Why wouldn't they? I think Zeke and Casey were the only two people, I think, right, who were infected?
Infected, yeah.
But he got beat up. Zeke got beat up pretty bad, though.
He was kind of passed out, and then so basically he ends up letting her out, and then we cut to like a month later, and everything's returned to normal. Stan and Stokely, who for some reason, which I didn't get, has shed her goth girl image, as this says on Wikipedia. Like she looked better as a goth than she did as. It's like, it's remember that part. Yeah. At the end, she's kissing. She like kisses Stan. They're sitting outside of the football field. They're watching the football players play. Like now, Zeke's has taken basically Zeke's taken Stan's place on the football team, but and his. Miss Burke like is watching him practice, like, in a creepy way where your teacher's watching you practice, like, okay. But but yeah. Yep. But no, she's not, she's like, it's just like what's her face in the Breakfast Club. They do that like makeover on her and make her look quote unquote normal and take away her like individuality. And that's what I feel like happened here too. And I just think that's the wrong message to send at the end of this movie. That's the one thing that kind of bothered me, because the cool thing about Stokely was that she was herself. And yeah.
True, but maybe they did it on purpose because it was like the Breakfast Club, like a nod almost, maybe.
That's what I'm wondering, but it's like, that was like the worst part of the Breakfast Club. That's the main reason I don't like that movie is because of the message there. Yeah. There's a lot of things about that movie, but
There's a lot of things about the movie that are very problematic nowadays. I mean, even back then they were, but
I know. I remember one day in the break room at work, this lady that doesn't work there anymore, they were talking about the Breakfast Club and stuff like that, and I said, "Yeah, everybody's going to hate me here, but I don't like that movie." And they all looked at me like, "How do you not like the Breakfast Club?" And I'm like, "It's not well written. It's probably one of John Hughes's worst written films."
They're like, "What?" I mean, like. You got the main character.
16 Candles is horrible too. But yeah, anyways.
Oh God, what's worse when it comes to the problematic shit? Yeah. Totally. I mean, yeah, that could have just been a nod, but yeah, it is like the wrong message.
I don't like the message where people aren't allowed to be who they are. You know, it's just like if you're changing fully because that's who you always wanted to be or who you want to be at that point in your life, that's fine. But if you're doing it just to like fit in or to be accepted, and I don't know if that's what she was going for, maybe that's who she really wanted to be, and that's fine. But they didn't really give you that indication anywhere in the movie that she wanted to change her looks. So
in a month's time. I mean, it's not in a month. It's not that long of a time to change everything about yourself.
In high school, it is.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
When you're in high school, like every day seems like a year. So then anyways, then we, Delilah is no longer like a bitch to Casey, and now they're like a couple now too. So, and Casey's considered a local hero, which is another thing that I think sends another message that's kind of weird. So it took Casey becoming a local hero, aka kind of like the quarterback on a football team, for her to actually care about him.
Right.
So yeah.
Yep.
So it's another bad message.
So she's still superficial is what Stan called her earlier, and she insulted him like, "Oh, that 4 syllables. That's really smart of you." Like, okay, bitch, shut the fuck up. Like, you know, like, really? Do you have to be like that? Come on.
Yeah, it's but anyways, that's where we end. You know, we see that everybody's back to normal. We don't know anything about Mary Beth though. That's the only thing. So yeah.
That's the thing. It makes me sad about like, who is she? How come she can't live or become back to herself or whatever? You know, or
maybe in the remake we'll find out.
maybe some of these actors will play like fit roles, like as teachers. Maybe like Josh Hartnett might be the chemistry teacher. That would be kind of cool. Or like, you know,
it'd be interesting. I bet there will be at least one if they remake it. They'll definitely put in the obligatory cameo of one of them as a teacher. You know, somebody, you know, who knows, you know, maybe Elijah Wood.
That'd be kind of cool as a journalism teacher, maybe, or like
Elijah Wood,
or what,
or the chemistry teacher, or whatever, or the science teacher, or whatever it was. You know, Elijah Wood, if he could, you know.
I mean, if he could fit in, Mr. You know, big shot here, you know, he's a really good actor though. He's very versatile. Yes. He was in that TV show called Wilfred for a while. That was an interesting show.
That was.
Obviously, you know, the Lord of the Rings movies, but it was also in a bunch of cool shit, really.
He's a really good actor, you know.
Young, that was a good one with Mel Gibson. That was one of his first roles. Back to the Future 2, I think that was his first role, actually, was Back to the Future 2. That was pretty good. What was I going to say? Speaking of problem.
Very, when he was very young, he was in the Forever Your Girl video for Paula Abdul, directed by David Fincher.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
So it's just interesting. David Fincher directed, because he was a music video director before he became like a big time, probably my favorite filmmaker that's alive. So anyways, because
that's pretty cool.
Because I will tell you there are few films that I consider perfect. And one of them is Zodiac.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, Zodiac is a perfect film. I mean, there's the thing is with a perfect film, there can be flaws in it and things that are not factual or whatever. But the way that movie is made, it's perfect in every way. I've watched that movie probably it's in my top 3, I think, of all time films. I've watched that movie probably about 20 times, and it's a long movie. So yeah,
it's very long. It's scary. It's very suspenseful. It's like a thriller, like you say. It's got great actors. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is in it, I think, at one point during the first half.
And
he's
Mark
he's like the first
and Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah, it's a good movie. So check it out, folks. If you have, That is Zodiac.
It's a very, very good movie, yeah. But I was going to say something, too, about the problematic shit. I just remembered talking about the movies and stuff. Josh Hartnett, maybe we could review this sometime. Josh Hartnett was in a movie called 40 Days and 40 Nights. Where
oh, yeah. I remember that movie.
He's basically not going to have sex for 40 days because his brother's a priest. And he kind of gives him the idea of, like, basically fasting from sex.
Yeah.
And so there's a scene in there where he gets, raped by a woman. There's no other way to say it. She like ties him down and forces him to have sex. And like they're making it into a joke. They're like, that boy, you like that shit, don't you? I'm like, no, she's raping him. I'm like, who cares? The guy always wants it, right? No.
Yeah, that's the way it is in movies, unfortunately. There's something similar, in my opinion, in Wonder Woman 1984. But yeah, we'll get to that movie someday.
Yeah.
Anyways, any other thoughts on The Faculty?
No. Faculty Town is closing down for now.
Faculty Town is closing down.
Yep.
Yeah. So basically, folks, just wanted to tell you that I hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to follow us wherever you're listening to this, whatever app you're listening to us, follow us, follow us on social media. Check out all2real2.com to find all the links to that shiznit. And,
wow.
And, it's good times, folks. And, we've got a TeePublic, links to that on there, and a Patreon. Yep. And I just wanted to say my favorite, maybe problematic line in the whole movie Faculty was "fuck you, tit bags." So I just Stokely says that to Delilah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because they kind of have like a competition thing with each other. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I just thought it was funny, but I just didn't expect it. I was just like, wait, what did she just say? I had to rewind it. And I was like, she just said, "fuck you, tit bags."
I know. Terrible.
Anyways, folks, just, do it up. Check all the social medias and everything. Share the show with folks if you can. Check out our YouTube. You can listen to the show there too, if that's easier for you. But just, remember until next time that, I love you. Fuck you, tit bags. Sesame loves you.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter. No one is illegal. Fuck the robber barons taking over this country. Trans lives and trans rights are human lives and human rights. Free Palestine.
And Ukraine.
And Ukraine. Zelensky is a hero.
Yes.
Even though I have some problems with him, but he is kind of a Zionist. But anyway, so
hey, you gotta take the wins you can.
Here. But compared to some people. Anyway, so we'll see what happens by the time this episode comes out.
Yeah.
We might be in World War III for all we know.
Yeah.
If this episode comes out.
If it comes out.
Yes. The important thing here, folks, that kind of ties into what I was saying earlier. A message I've always said to people since I was in high school: be different, be yourself. And until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.